But don't be afraid to do mistakes. Learn from the mistakes. Try not to repeat the same mistake again, but sometimes people tend to make the same mistakes again and again, but you will learn eventually. Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Learn from it. Yeah.
Welcome to the 7th episode of Kaapi with Kiran. It's getting exciting. We've had a bunch of personalities and some amazing conversations. But here's one of my favorites again. Probably the only Indian to have won one of the greatest, only Indian origin man to have won one of the greatest ever food shows of all times, MasterChef Australia. None other than the 2018 winner, Chef Sashi Cheliah. Welcome, Sashi.
Thanks, Kiran. Lovely. It's always an awesome time meeting you, and this time we're having a chat.
Finally, right?
Yeah.
It's always that we spend so much time together, but after the launch, you're here.
Yep.
What better opportunity to find out and tell people about your life and the unique things that you've done in your life and your journey.
Yep.
And that's what the show is all about. I want to go and catch up with as many food and beverage professionals like you who've crossed their paths with me, and that's what this show is all about. And welcome again, and another good promotion with us at World on a Plate.
Yep.
Though it's late after a few days of work, it's still exciting to hang out with you.
Nah, it's always a pleasure. We have traveled for the last couple of years together, doing so many events, shows, and collaborations. But to have like an intimate conversation like this, sitting down, like a very formal kind of interaction. Atmosphere is a little
the first
different.
Time.
First time. Yeah. We have chatted a lot, but I think this is going to be something different for us.
Amazing. So, Chef, I can call you Chef now. Anyway, Chef, what actually was your early part of your life? How was your early part of your life? Where are you from? Where is your family from? How did how did you start your early part of your life?
I would like to go a little bit backwards to my roots.
Yeah.
Grandparents, especially my dad's side, came from Tamil Nadu, India. I think during the British occupation, they were part of the public works department. So they were shifted from there to, back then, Malaya, Singapore. So my dad was born there. Family, extended family, everybody started settling down in Singapore, Malaysia. So that is where our roots, like we were like 3 generations living in Singapore. I grew up there. My education, my early childhood, all my food experience, everything was in Singapore. As you know, Singapore is a melting pot for foods. Yeah. You name it, what you want, everything is available there. And to add on to that, mom was a crucial part of my culinary journey. She used to run multiple outlets in Singapore. We call it coffee shops, where it served traditional hawker food like parotas, mee goreng, nasi gorengs, more of that Indian, Malaysian kind of a style. So, at a very young age, myself and my siblings, especially the boys, we got introduced to this food scene. But, being mom, she doesn't want us to come into the industry. And she knows this industry is not an easy industry. Long hours of working. On top of that, back then, it wasn't a very popular choice of employment for most people. Yeah. They classify it as more like a dirty job. Nobody wants to do it. You'll end up being a chef. But they did not knew how interesting it is, how much knowledge, how much skill is involved. Back then, they could not understand it. For them, is do your basic education.
Probably the most intelligent job.
It's very creative job. There's a lot of creativity.
It's all the senses together. taste, smell,
Exactly.
visual,
And there's
palate.
a lot of creativity.
Palate,
Constantly
my
you're
God.
thinking about how you can present food in a better manner, how you
Mm.
can elevate flavors. There's a lot of creativity involved in it, which for them it was different back then.
Probably it was like, because they would think food as food,
Yep.
as a very basic source of occupation, and not only an occupation, like,
I think
anyway,
for
I
them,
can cook for
it
you.
was more of survival. It became more like a livelihood.
Also,
survival.
entertainment, food and entertainment was not at that level.
Yes.
Elevated at that level. People were still figuring out, the basics.
If you go back 70s and 80s, Singapore, it's totally different. It was a growing country. It was a pretty much third world country. But where Singapore is right now in a world map, in culinary and bar scene, is way beyond many countries. They have traveled a long way. So now the food scene is totally different.
Correct.
So yeah.
So basically, you were as a child exposed to Malaysian food. Am I right?
Predominantly Southeast Asian, I would say. Why I like to classify as Southeast Asian is because we have a very strong South Indian influence at home. But even South Indian influence, there's a lot of Malay, Chinese, and Peranakan flavors at home. We cook, for example, if mom is cooking,
what does she cook?
Some rice with dal. We might serve us sambal on the side and a Chinese stir-fried vegetables.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Like you have 3 different cuisine in
That's
one
a
plate.
melting pot of sorts.
So that is my daily food consumption meal, and that is what I represent myself. Also on a plate, it's always combination of multiple cuisines, getting interesting flavors, which is bold, which is very honest to you. I believe in honest food. I believe in generosity, like larger plates, sharing plates. So all these come from home.
That's amazing. Very cool. Do you think cuisine is still in people's homes?
Definitely.
Culinary,
definitely. Like people tend to hold a lot of pride in their culture, in their traditional food. I'm not sure how it worked in other part of the world, but definitely in the household where I grew up,
in South Asia.
South Asia generally there is a very strong bonding with culture and food. It always revolves around that. Family bonding, or anytime you go out with anyone, friends, family, food is a primary thing, revolves around it. Always they were like, what shall I have tonight when we're meeting up with someone? If I'm planning,
celebration is around food.
Yes, a birthday or Diwali or anything.
Probably that's why we are not as fit as any other country, because we're always eating all the time. Isn't it?
Not really. Not really. I used to be very fit.
Yeah.
I used to be.
No, not you. I'm talking about us. Generally, our race, we're still not like top 5 in Olympics. If you notice, we're still maybe number 5, number 1 in eating.
A lot of that is come down to our lifestyle. If you go back in our older days, our ancestors used to take a lot of carbs and all that, but they used to do equally hard job, hard labors, farming, which requires a lot of energy. That's why the rice consumption, sugar, yogurt, and all those things supported them to survive the whole day. Whereas now we are still consuming the same amount of carb and we're not desktop. So it doesn't justify what. So a balanced diet is always comes back to your activity and food consumption.
So how did your career start? What did you actually start your career in? Of course, your mom didn't allow you to, choose that career. What did you start your career?
Okay. As a kid, I wasn't a very bright kid. I was an average student. But what I had, which was a strength, was my fitness. I had a great fitness, great sports person. So technically, I was leaning towards an environment that was a strength to my ability. So right after my military, I joined the police force.
When do you guys go into military in Singapore?
Okay, Singapore military, as an adult who is 18 and above, technically, fit adults, you need to serve national service. So
That's for 2 years.
2 years. Back then it was 2.5 years. When I joined in year 99. So back then it was 2.5 years. So I did 2 years of military. Then right after that, I went into police force. I served a good 13 years in the force.
Nice.
Before moving on to Australia. In that 13 years, a lot of interesting things happened.
What is your most interesting?
4 years. First 4 years, I was in the riot police. So right after passing out from the academy, I was posted into riot police. And from there, I moved into a very specialized unit called Special Tactics and Rescue Unit. Which primarily back then, initially when it started, they were focusing on counterterrorism, kidnapping, you name it, any kind of high-profile cases, even VVIP escorts, we are there. So there's a lot. I had amazing fun. That one of my most memorable time in my life, I would say one of that things, like from jumping out of helicopters right down to diving, you name it. All those adventure, adrenaline-filled things I've done.
So what is since you are special forces, what is there like a rule when you have someone who's an enemy? How long does it take for you to finish an enemy? Is there like a
no? There's no like a thumb rule or something like that. Like everyone.
How long does a bare hand?
No. That is not how it goes. Yeah, it's survival. That is how it goes. Survival. So most of the time is what is need to be done is based on necessity. Rule of engagement. There's a lot of things. It's not as simple as somebody is confronting. First thing you do is want to kill them. That is not what we are looking. We are looking at apprehending, reducing the risk factor as far as possible. We try to apprehend them and minimum lethal force is used.
Collateral damage.
Yeah. As far as possible, I'm lucky that I've never used my gun.
Oh wow.
That only one incident, very close, but it did not happen. So I'm lucky it did not happen.
Amazing. So you call yourself an adrenaline junkie. That's what I
definitely
on this stage.
I think I mean.
What is your most adrenaline? Filled activity you've done in your life?
Okay, if you're talking about my previous job, there's one particular incident where we were really very close to a gunman. So we are entering into an environment, an unknown environment, where we know that someone has a loaded weapon. We are going in. The chances of we getting hurt is very high, but we still have to go in and apprehend the person.
My God.
So, and I was one of the 4 who went inside and we did that. There's a lot more also, but this is one of a very memorable, or I won't say memorable, it's one of the things that is very fresh in my mind every single time when I think about it.
So are you happy that are you okay that you left that life and moved to Australia? When did you meet your dear wife?
Okay, my wife is my childhood sweetheart. So I know her since I was 19 years old. So she has traveled with me.
Rebecca.
Yeah, thick and thin. Yeah, her name is Rebecca.
Yeah.
Rebecca, she has traveled with me, through thick and thin. Every single journey in my life, she's been part of it. Right down from my careers to move. I think she's one of the primary reasons why we moved to Australia. Very early in our life, we wanted to spend a lot more time with the kids at home. Because both our jobs were very demanding.
Okay.
She used to be in the Air Force. After that, she moved on to nursing. And I being in the forces, we don't spend much time at home with each other or the kids. So we took a very
risky.
It wasn't risky, very calculative, I would say. She's a very smart woman. She knows exactly what she's doing.
Amazing.
So she did all her application processes. Then it was a very collective decision. Okay, we have done our part in our life for ourselves. We had our fun. Now it's time to focus on family and kids.
How old were the kids when you moved?
Back then, they were 5 and 3
Oh,
when
how
we
sweet.
moved in 2012. So
Probably that's the reason why they are grown up so beautifully and nice. You know,
beautiful boys. I got two
Very,
beautiful
yeah.
boys, Marcus and Ryan. Amazing guys.
Who's your favorite?
You can't say favorite. Each of them have their own pros and cons, but mostly good things.
Yeah.
My elder one is such a sweet boy. Still mommy's boy, 18 years old.
Is it?
Still behaves like a kid. Every single thing he will ask our permission. Good
So
boy,
sweet,
very good
yeah.
boy. Then I have a 16-year-old Chicky
Notorious.
Burger. He's a charmer. He's a real charmer.
Yeah.
He knows how to get around us. Very logical thinker. Very smart boy. Very smart boy.
MasterChef, Junior MasterChef.
And yeah, he was on Junior MasterChef. 2020 he was. He did pretty well. He came in top 12, I think. Top 11
amazing.
he came in. And he still does cooking. Still does. But on a leisure basis. Whenever you feel like cooking, he will cook.
No pressure.
No pressure. He doesn't like the pressure anymore. But he's a numbers guy. He loves his numbers.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably he'll be part of your business soon.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
there's a
Put
lot of
him now.
opportunities for him. So let's see. But amazing family. I'm blessed with it. That is one of the biggest blessing in my life. As much as whatever we have done, but having great kids, family, wife, mom, siblings. So that is one of my biggest blessing, I would say, and one of my biggest strength also.
That's amazing.
Right.
That's lovely.
And whatever I'm doing now, I'm able to do it with ease because I know that they have my back end supporting me. Like there's pros and cons. Like for example, COVID. COVID was a bit of a mess for most of us. I started my first restaurant 4 months before COVID.
Wow.
Just imagine, after 2018, winning MasterChef, was flying high, traveling, going through so much of media and cooking, tasting, food. 2019, I was so happy that I opened my first outlet. Within 4 months, I had to shut my doors. From a buzzing 150 covers, 200 covers a day to no one in the restaurant.
COVID was crazy.
Was crazy. It just flipped my whole
life.
Life. It did. Even till now,
Yeah.
the impact is still there.
Yeah. Still like another few years it'll be fine.
Or maybe more than that, especially in Australia.
Yeah.
A lot of
People are
hospitalities are still struggling. The restaurants and all that. The margins are very high. For example, from
very low, you mean?
Very low the margins. For example, from produce to labor cost to tax, every single thing has gone up significantly. That restaurants are not making much at this stage. So whoever is still running a restaurant is purely out of passion and they want to do it. It's not because they are earning big bucks. It's because they have the passion. They're still hungry to do something in the industry.
So I believe you have 2 pets as well.
My lovely girls, Jess and Ivy.
Is it? Oh, Jess is what? Is she
she's a 9-year-old Jack Russell.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful baby. Even a 9-year-old baby, still my baby.
Of course.
Such a charmer. she knows her way around us and whoever she meets. Ivy is 3-year-old Chihuahua, very timid, very young. My baby, she loves me so much. She sleeps with me every night whenever I'm home. So yeah, such a sweetheart. The boys have grown too big now, 16 and 18-year-old. So there are no more kids anymore.
No more kids. You can't hold them back.
Yeah. So whereas these girls are
still with
even
you.
as how old they get, they're still our babies. Yeah. So both me and my wife, that's our love of our life for both of us.
So when did you start this whole cooking journey? When did this life turned around? You moved to Australia.
Yeah.
What were you doing? And then how did this cooking journey start?
Okay, cooking has always been part of my life. As you know, mom, introduced us to cooking. Every barbecues and school functions, right down to family events. I'm one of the guys who love the thing. So barbecue has been part of me. But when I moved to Australia, a significant thing happened is because you can't get good Asian food anywhere. There are a lot of outlets, but good ones, like very familiar or similar to Singapore Malaysian flavors, you can't get. Even if you can
Even
get,
now,
it's too expensive.
Yeah.
And back then, there was only one income. My wife was the only one who was earning early stages. I was still looking for a job and all that. So we could not afford to spend that kind of money every now and then going out and eating. So what I did was, I started looking for recipes. I was free at home, basically sending kids to school, coming back home, going for a swim, coming. So I had a lot of time in my hand. So I started, going through internet, checking for new recipes, calling mom, calling aunt. Can you guys give me some dishes? I want to practice. I want to cook, feed the kids and everyone. So that's how it started. In the early stage when I went to Australia in 2012. Then after that, after 4 or 5 months in Australia, I got a job in the prison department as a case manager. So I started focusing on that career. And 5 years into that process,
5 years.
5 years, 2012 to 2017,
Oh my God.
around that period, as usual, things
9 to 5.
9 to 5, amazing job, nothing wrong, amazing colleagues, everything was going very smoothly. Coming from this kind of an adrenaline pumped environment where things are always fast moving, you don't know what to expect.
What's next?
Daily, everything is uncertain. That kind of adrenaline I could not get. And almost 20 years being an employee with the government, both me and my missus, my wife Rebecca, we wanted to do something on our own. So other than law enforcement, what else I know and I'm pretty comfortable doing was cooking. So I thought, okay, let's start a small cafe or a takeaway outlet that, I can proudly say this. I've created
my place.
It's my place. I've done this for my own. But we don't want to be another takeaway place or another cafe in Adelaide. And that is when I saw MasterChef advertisement popping up on my Facebook. And the first thing, I was a bit hesitant to apply. Rebecca was very supportive. She said, just give it a go. You don't know. You have a job. Go and try. If things work out, at least, we never even think about winning. First step, entering into the competition itself is a very big task. I'll talk about that shortly, how much of process it goes through. She said, okay, let's give it a go, put through the paperwork, see how it goes.
And we'll decide.
Sometime end of 2000 or September 2017, I submit my application. And even that also, being me, who always like to procrastinate things.
Last minute.
Took me 3 days to go through the paperwork. But it was a tedious process. Bloody 6 or 8 pages of information they require. Photographs, videos.
Oh my God.
It's a pretty tedious process. I think if you're not committed to going into the show, you will not be able to.
They clearly check how serious you are.
Yeah, you will not. Then,
because you're gonna get like a not so serious guy who's not interested.
And that whole show is a 1 year process. From the time you put in the paperwork till the finale, it takes about.
How real is the show?
Oh, very real. I mean, those days, one of the shows that I can safely say is unscripted. Everything you see on the show is what really happened.
Not even like adjusting of the food after it's done. 30 seconds or 60 minutes is done.
Everything is to the point, to the time.
Nice.
We don't even know what we are cooking until we step in front of the judges.
Was this before 2018 or 19?
Okay, from my experience, whatever I have gone through, it was like that. The judges will only tell us, or the production team will really inform us when we are standing in front of judges.
Yes.
So how real was that?
And that's where the pressure and the action and such real scripts.
I think that's why people were able to connect. Because there's no script, there's no dramas involved. It's pure cooking and pure love that is coming out in front of people that you have for food.
And how long do you stay? Did you guys stay together? I mean, all of
the filming took us 6 months.
You stayed in the same room, like a
first 24 hours. right after judges audition. Back then, before COVID, was a bit different. Everybody stayed under one roof in a mansion. It was good fun, and also at the same time, a lot of things. Just imagine putting 24 individuals from different walks of life
under one
roof.
Wow.
Asking them to cook, eat, sleep, work together.
Did you fight with anyone? Did you have some?
No, we had our times. We had our rough times. We have our good times. It's like family.
Correct.
No family is perfect.
100%.
We have, the differences, but we always work.
That's probably one of the reasons why all the contestants also loved you, because you're, coming from that thought process, right?
And on top of that, I come from a regimental background where I work in big groups. I live with big teams, and we learn to adjust and develop and accommodate to each other, because that's what team is all about. That's what this camaraderie is all about. You need to accommodate, you need to support each other.
And discipline, what do you think of discipline?
You need a very high discipline in the show, because you can easily get distracted or you can get diverted from where your journey is going to be. So having a very good discipline is important. You need to be focused. You should not let whatever is happening around you distract your thought process. That's a very big thing in the show, and it's 6 months. It's not a short program; it's a long program.
Yeah,
people can get fatigued.
Correct.
People can get tired.
100%.
So if you don't,
that kept you ahead of the others, not being fatigued, or you must have had a vision and clear vision. That's why you won, right?
Okay, the first
probably
in terms of the fatigue, the tiredness, that stress, I'm able to adapt high level of stress.
Yeah.
That is one of my advantage because of my previous job.
Yeah.
But the confidence is another thing.
Yeah.
I did not have the confidence that I will be pushing through till the finale in the early stages of the competition. No, I did not have. I went in thinking that if I can survive 1 week in the show, I'm happy. I don't want to be the first one out. That was I'm very determined about that. Please don't make me go out the first one. I don't want to be known for that. But the confidence build started was right after my first mystery box challenge. I won the mystery box challenge. Then I started getting tasted regularly. Then immunity pin. So within a good 2 to 3 months or weeks, the early stages, I had this confidence that, okay, seems like I'm going towards the right path, direction. I got a chance to go further. Then first 20, then top 10, top 5. So day by day, I was taking it day by day. And as the thing gets closer and closer and closer, that is when the stress started hitting me. When
did you know that you're going to win? Did you know, or did you manifest that you're going to win?
You can't say that, because
in your deep, there's something like a gut feeling, right?
Yeah, I had a confidence that I have a very good chance of winning.
When?
In the top 5, top 3 around that period.
Top 5
around the period.
That feeling was there.
The feeling was there, but there's also fear, because favorites don't always win. In the show, the history has been always like that. And back then, according to the media and all that, I was in the top in the chances of winning, and I was one of the favorites. And being favorite is always, the risk is there.
High risk.
Yeah. So I was a bit conscious, and even I had my down days also. If not for Matt Preston, I might have gone into a different direction.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. For example, top 4 or top 5, I can't remember. I was cooking in a boat in Sydney Harbour. That episode, I tried to be very experimental. I went and do a chicken rice with sous vide and all those kind of fancy equipment and all that. And I'm always known for a guy who cooks very robust, bold
Simple.
flavors and very
Honest.
honest food. But this, as I was going in too much into the
Competitive
competition,
side, seeing
I started doing a bit more fancy stuff and all those
Mm-hmm.
things. And that day, I did massive. I did terribly. I did. I was almost sent home that day. It was an
Is
elimination.
it?
I was lucky because the person who got eliminated had more mistakes than me.
Wow.
It was a very close one.
So what is this? What do you think? Of course, you went on to win MasterChef Australia. Everybody knows about it, and then the journey after MasterChef Australia. How has that journey been, and what do you think a contestant, like a a chef who's won a contest and who's not a professional chef, who walks into, you must have worked, you already worked with a lot of kitchens, right? How do they treat you? How do people treat you?
Very early in the culinary world, when right after MasterChef, okay, media, yes, accepted you. People love you.
Yeah.
But the industry will not accept you because you are not a professional chef. You have not gone through a culinary school or not worked in a kitchen before.
A professional
kitchen. And they have worked their, ass off for the last 10 years, 15 years to establish what they have been passionate about. So you need to prove yourself. So
was there
I had a lot of things to prove. Okay, I've done my show. I've won the competition. They know that I can cook. But cooking in a show and cooking on a professional level in a commercial kitchen is totally a different ballgame.
How long was that process? How long did you?
It took me 1.5 years.
Yeah.
Took me 1.5 years.
Was there a time when you were really, put down in a hotel or a restaurant or something?
It took me 1.5 years for other chefs to address me as a chef. That's when you know you have earned your stripes in the industry. Till then,
any incident you can tell me when there was they looked down on you?
They don't make it very obvious that they're looking down or something. I can't say that. But you have to prove yourself in order to get your stripes. And I am a person who is not upset or having a sour grape. I'm not a kind of person because I have gone through that in my life in various time of my career. I had to prove myself to everyone in order to earn my stripes.
So do you say that moving ahead is way more important than being in that moment of, I'm not whatever, in that I'm not accepted by someone. So accepting yourself that you can do better is better than, being someone else.
No, you have to first realize who you are first.
Yeah.
As soon as you know who you are, what is your potential, and you know that you need to prove, in order to prove, you need to work. In order for you to work, you need to put in hard work, time, and resources to gain the knowledge. So, and one thing that I was disadvantaged for me was I'm the oldest winner in the competition. I won the competition at the age of 40.
Wow.
And for me to go right down to basic and learn culinary and proving in the industry is near impossible for me. Luckily, I won the competition. So I had that leeway of starting a restaurant, engaging people with experience, learning from them. I learned a lot from my chefs.
Of course.
That's how I gained the knowledge.
Amazing.
And that is how we got our first head within 1.5 years in the industry. Yeah. Amazing. So we maintained one chef head for 3 years till we closed the restaurant in last year, December.
That's amazing. That I didn't know about for sure.
Yeah.
That you guys got your first head. That's amazing. So what is Sashi Cheliah's style of cuisine? If he's going to open a very, very exclusive restaurant, what kind of food do we expect in his restaurant?
okay, if you're talking about exclusive
yeah.
restaurants, very intimate kind of sitting, I'm more on experimental with street food. So I take inspirations and aspirations from street food and home style cooking because I believe those are the places where you get very good bold flavors. And putting it to a customer in a very, they call it same but different in Singapore.
100%.
No, it sound like that, it feels like that, but it doesn't look like that. So that is what I will be looking at. I'll be looking at dishes that is sound, like for example, that's randomly I'm telling you, a Hainanese chicken rice. But I will be giving you on a plate just a small piece of chicken wing. But inside, it will be stuffed with rice, all the elements of a chicken rice. So on one bite, you will have the explosion of an Hainanese chicken rice in one bite. Amazing. Just a thought process. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
So,
but what is that kind of street food which you brought onto the plate? Because you've done a lot of degustation menus. One or two of those items.
Like classic ones is sambal. I use a lot of chili jam and sambal in most of my cuisines or most of my dishes, I would say. Nice. In a different level. There's something, it has a very unique palate to it. It has a nice spiciness, sour, sweet. It's a combination of a lot of flavors in one particular dish. And it's a very versatile thing also. I like nasi lemak. I've done a lot of traditional food into contemporary style, like ikan bakar, for example, that nice grilled fish that comes with sambal in a very fine dining manner. I've plated up and you could not say it's ikan bakar, but the flavors of ikan bakar is on a plate.
Nice.
So these are the things I like to.
So do you think the South Asian cuisine can take over the world? This style of cooking, like there is Chinese, there is Italian, there is French, which are obviously very, very popular. When is it due for a South Asian cuisine
take over the world? I'm not sure, but there is a significant acceptance in the industry for Asian cuisine throughout the world.
Oh, forget the industry. What about the people?
Oh,
are they open to experiment and with bold flavors?
Asian food, people love Asian food throughout the world. I've been traveling to multiple destinations in the last 6 years, and Asian food, every nook and corner, there will be an Asian store or an Asian restaurant serving amazing food, and they will be booked every single night, booked out.
So there is future, you're saying?
Plenty of future for Asian food. Good Asian food.
So tell us about Fly Rice. You said that you're opening a new, looks like you're becoming a real entrepreneur now.
There's some
probably, it's like the Chinese bamboo, which takes time to,
there's multiple things happening at the moment. Like we are looking into fine dining concept. We are looking into food productions. At the same time, we are also not forgetting the mess. So fried rice, they call it, which is fried rice. It's a staple. Every household loves a very good fried rice. And we want to come to every single one in India, around the world, with our fried rice.
So it's like a global
brand. It's a global brand. The global brand is, we are looking at a very big scale for that brand. We want to start something in India first. And slowly we are looking at multiple cities, multiple countries. So it's a very big project we have planned out, which is focusing on Asian cuisine, predominantly fried rice with some noodles and Asian staple that I grew up eating.
People take
right down from satays to dumplings to rice. But it's not going to be a massive menu.
Mm.
Small menu,
Mm.
good food,
Mm.
good vibe,
Mm.
good takeaway,
Nice.
where every single one can enjoy. Not necessarily, top dollars. Affordable price, good flavors, good vibe, good ambience.
Yeah.
Every single one can enjoy from kid to an adult.
Amazing. Lovely. So, what is that one advice you'll give people who are watching this podcast, especially people in the F&B industry? A lot of young chefs. We saw a lot of young chefs today, aspiring people in the industry. Like one advice before we go.
Don't be afraid to do mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I think mistakes makes people make better choices down the road.
And do you think the F&B industry is a good space to be in?
Oh,
in terms
F&B
of a
industry,
career?
especially India,
Yeah.
it's a booming market for F&B.
Mm.
There's a lot of opportunities here. You can see me, I'm here regularly because there is a lot of opportunities here. Definitely for young and chefs, this place has so much of potential. They don't need to travel that far to explore their interest, their creativity. There's so much of opportunity in India itself, or Asia, I would say itself, where they can explore, they can expand. But don't be afraid to do mistakes. Learn from the mistakes. Try not to repeat the same mistake again. But sometimes people tend to make the same mistakes again and again. But you will learn eventually. Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Learn from it.
Amazing. Get an amazing chat with one and only Sashi Cheliah. I hope you guys had a good listening to some amazing, cool conversations with this gentleman. And looking forward to see you guys on the next episode. Hope you had a good one. Keep writing to us for more.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Kiran.